This is the first earthquake-proof neighborhood in all of Europe, Bastia in Lisbon. But why did they make it earthquake-proof in the first place? On November 1st, 1755 at 9:40 a.m., a massive estimated 8.5 magnitude earthquake shook the entire city. And then came a tsunami with waves up to 40 feet high. And then a firestorm consumed the city, all on the same day. Lo and behold, Lisbon, Portugal was devastated. Up to 85% of the city laid in ruin. And there was up to 50,000 casualties in a city that only had a population of around 200,000. This left the city and the country overall in shambles, and people were fearing that another earthquake would hit again. So King Jose I, who narrowly escaped the disaster, named Marquês de Pombal in charge of the reconstruction effort. Ruined buildings were destroyed with cannons, and the Bastia district was cleared for urban renewal. In turn, a grid system was implemented with wide avenues, large open squares, and a uniform series of buildings that were between 3 and 6 stories tall. The Marquess hired the finest architects of his time to devise a structure that could withstand seismic activity. So these architects built wooden models, and they would use soldiers marching all around these wooden models to simulate seismic activity. If they stood up, it was good. If they collapsed, it was no good. But one design stuck out more than the rest, which is now known as the Pombaline cage. It was basically a wooden skeleton that is within the masonry walls. And these wooden beams and columns would be joined by iron straps, which would absorb any seismic activity during an earthquake, making the entire building flexible. Thus, these buildings in Bastia are amongst the first earthquake-proof buildings in all of Europe. And the demand for Portugal's famous ceramic tiles that date back all the way to Moorish times, also known as azulejos, actually skyrocketed because they proved to be great for temperature control. They would keep buildings cool during the summer, and they would actually insulate heat during the winter so a building can stay nice and warm. Right here, we can actually see how nature affects architecture and how the innovations of the Marquês de Pombal end up saving countless lives later. Stay curious, my friends.